Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. In every podcast in the show, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept, and I'll tell you why it's important. I'll also include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept for this podcast, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. The book is available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to me. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. If you like the show, please rate it and review it. To do that, go to my website, cluttercoach.net, and scroll down for the show notes. Each show notes post has a link to leave a review in iTunes. I would so appreciate that. Okay, on to the podcast. This is podcast 78, and it's about the iterative process. In the design world, an iterative process is one in which a prototype is tested to see if it fulfills its purpose. Feedback from users can show flaws and shortcomings that the designers didn't notice or didn't anticipate, and then they can be fixed for the next iteration. This can also generate new ideas that are only revealed when the prototype is actually being used. Users ask questions like, well, why doesn't it work this way? Why are there only two choices here? And why can't I hold it like this? Those ideas can be analyzed, and the good ones can be added to the next prototype to improve it. For decluttering purposes, iteration helps people see an item in the context of other items. It allows people to review things over time and see that needs and desires have changed. There are many times that the items you want to organize don't lend themselves to quick decision-making. This goes for sentimental items and items from your past, heirlooms, kids' artwork, anything that provokes an emotional reaction from you. It can also be things that are on hold or things you haven't decided on yet, or a big pile of maybes that keeps growing and never seems to shrink, or things that you never decided on that you regret. Again, there's that emotional angle. You can't reason your way through this kind of decision-making. You have to consult your feelings. You have to judge these items by particular circumstances. But feelings change over time, and so do circumstances. You already know that things you once treasured can sometimes make you just scratch your head wondering why you kept them at all. You can capitalize on this by using an iterative decluttering process. What I mean by an iterative process is that you go through these items on a regular basis, maybe once a year. On the first pass, you might not get rid of much at all, if anything. It's worth going through them, though, to become acquainted with them again. If you're a regular listener to my podcast, you know that it's not allowed to be unaware of things that you own. Anything you've forgotten about or don't even recognize is something that you don't need weighing down your life. So on the second iteration, you may get rid of a few items. Each time you go through the items, you're likely to get rid of more each time. That's because over time, the emotional hold grows weaker. The regret gets farther in the past. The unique memento loses its charge because more of the same have been acquired. An organizer named Harriet Schechter has a really interesting way of dividing up sentimental items. Her categories are good, bad, happy, and sad. The good things are keepsakes or souvenirs that are in good condition and maybe even salable. The bad things are angry letters and photos of people that you're alienated from. Happy things are, say, a medal that you won doing something meaningful to you, or tickets from a show you attended with loved ones. Sad things are trinkets that remind you of deceased loved ones, or a loss that you shared with someone dear to you. The intriguing part is that she recommends getting rid of all the bad and good items, not the bad and sad. Why? For the most part, the bad and good things aren't really ones that you have attachment to. They may seem to be memorabilia, but they really aren't. Sometimes it takes a few iterations for you to realize that. What you will find is that items with the lowest happy and sad quotient are the ones you can release the quickest. Their appeal wears off the soonest, and you can decide to part with them. It's important to distinguish between emotional value and monetary value. If you still want to keep an object because you might be able to sell it, by all means keep it, but don't keep it with your other sentimental items. It doesn't belong there anymore, and you probably will never sell it if it stays there. Set aside other storage space for those valuable items. A great feature of using an iterative process is that you can let go of forcing yourself to make decisions to get rid of things at any one pass. I never want to put my clients in that position. The goal of decluttering has to be tempered by empathy and patience. When you know you can go through a box of mementos and simply reaffirm that you want to keep them, that lessens the stress of doing this task immensely. The other great benefit is that you get to visit with these important things once a year. I'm posting this podcast in November. Winter and the holiday season can be a great time to delve into that memorabilia box and relive the memories that have made you who you are today, and share them with family too. What you can do right now: just contemplate the idea of going through a bag or a shelf or a box, not with the idea of clearing it out, but with the idea of making sure that you want what's there. And when you find things that no longer have a place in your life, release them. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and a whole bunch of other stuff. If you're a fan of the show, you can become a patron on patreon.com for as little as $1 a month. You can find my page by going to the Patreon website, that's Patreon, and searching on Clutter Coach. I'll still post the podcast free of charge, but I've got some cool rewards for folks who want to help me make the show even better. Come back next week for a new podcast.